What's up, Peter Duel friends? It's time to duel yourself. I had first in mind for this video to do a standard tier list of the meta decks right now in the current TCG, but I think that YCS Vancouver really showed a little bit the situation of our current format. Therefore, I wanted to do something a little bit more special, meaning this will be a tier list for the World Championship. So, a little bit talking about which decks, in my opinion, could be able to win the World Championship. So, we have 5 categories ones, the favorite ones to win, the ones that are in a decent spot. Then could be a surprise because I think there are some decks that are a little bit under the radar, not in a good spot and close to unplayable, up to unplayable. Maybe we could fix that. We're gonna do it like this. Yes, perfect. So for unplayable, I would like to start first of all Gem Knights. I have to search here. August, Mitsurugi, Fiendsmith, and Ryzen Mitsurugi. Those decks basically because they are not out. They are not legal for the World Championship as they are in either region not out yet. So those we can already get out of the way. Then starting off, we have Artmage. In my opinion, Artmage is just not good enough. It just needs more support. The basic of the deck, the baseline is really good. It just needs some more to get to it. Branded, in my opinion, not or branded Despia, however you want to call it, is not in a good spot. It's just that the other decks are power creeping it. It is not good into Fuvalos, which is a big factor. I don't know, in my opinion, it's just not in a good spot. Fiendsmith is for me in the same category. Every Fiendsmith deck, I would rather even put it on close to unplayable because you have Necroquip Princess that is missing. So the whole engine is getting along its purpose a little bit of putting on that Caesar having some grind game. Therefore, I don't see any Fiendsmith deck doing particularly well. Fire King is for me also not in a good spot. It has some pros for it. It can play a lot of non-engine, etc. There are just decks that are better. Labyrinth, in my opinion, goes into the same category. This would be a deck that could, in my opinion, win the whole thing if it would win every dice roll, but that's hard on such a tournament. So if I would see myself competing in the World Championship, I would not bet my luck on just winning the dice rolls. Then we have Lunalight, and for me, this is one of the decks that could be a surprise. It is a deck that is, we saw it when it came out in the TCG. It was hyped, it was seen as really good, but it never showed because people saw the hype about it and they just prepared for it. And this is a deck when people are prepared for it, it's really not good. It has a rough time. But I could see myself in such a dense field of high quality players that they are not expecting each other to bring something as Lunalight to such a tournament. And therefore, I could see not that many people really preparing for it, and that could be a chance for this deck. Therefore, I could see this as a surprise. Then Memento, I think, stays in the category. Memento always stays in. It will never. It seems like it can never be the best deck, but it's always in a decent spot. I could see this deck perform pretty well. Oh, I forgot the pure Mitsurugi here to put into unplayable. Let's just fix that. There we go. Then we are talking about Mermail. Mermail, in my opinion, is also one of the decks that could be a surprise. In my opinion, Mermail is in the spot right now in the TCG currently, where against the good decks, the non-engine, the small package of non-engine you can play, you can fit in this deck, is most of the time not really effective, as one hand trap is never seems like never enough. Seeing those good decks being heard a lot in this kind of format, I see that Mermaid could just have a lucky day, have a good day, and bring it if someone brings it and get successful in this tournament. Then the Regenesis deck, I will just put on, I would say like this on top of unplayable, close to unplayable. The ceiling of the deck is just too low. You need a lot of engine to always have the 2/5. So even the non-engine spots are somehow limited, even if you can still fit a decent amount. I don't see it being that good. Uh, Tenpai would be here. It's also in such a format, going second with the boards people are making. I don't think it's a good idea, and even it's affected a lot though by the ban list. Then White Forest, I would say, is in at the end of not in a good spot. The deck is a little bit like a high risk, high reward deck. In that sense, I can see it in the tournament. However, people are always trying to cover heavy combo decks because that that high risk, high reward is also something people are scared of, and that's why mostly it's never rewarding. For Blue Eyes, I would say also could be a surprise. It's that deck that just can fit that much non-engine into it, and just being that, being lucky on the dice rolls, I could see it taking the whole thing. The boards are mid, backed up with hand traps. They can be enough. I think it could be if it has a good day. You don't draw the bricks too often because we know the deck is bricky. It could be possible. For Crystron, this is a pure version. I would set it right in at the top of not in a good spot. Just basically the deck has nothing really going against it. I just don't see a point in playing it without the K9 cards if you could. That's basically it. Then Draco Tail in a pure version is for me one of the favorite decks to win it. You just need to find the right build. I think Jesse Cotton made a good first attempt on that, let's say, perfect build. But I could see someone just bringing this deck and performing really, really good with it. It's good in into boards. Even while being good into boards, you can fit in a lot of non-engine and into half boards. It's just insane, this deck. I see it as one of the favorites. Melis, in my opinion, is the new top of not in a good spot. I know, for example, Julian Kahn rated it still as one of the best decks, as being a consideration for him. For me, it's just like the deck lost on the combined ban list a lot of consistency. And okay, you can fit that much non-engine into it, that's right. But relying on an inconsistent deck for such a tournament for me would not be a good idea. And I just see it like breaking one or two rounds, that costing it the win on it. Pure Rizal, in my opinion, is unfortunately unplayable. You're losing too much on the ban list. There's just you could even fit it right here. It's just you don't have enough starters. Shadol, uh, I don't even know why it's here. I think it was to make the picture with Draco Tail together. There's nothing talking for that deck. Then Pure Vanquish Soul is for me the one could be a surprise. Pure Vanquish Soul saying you can play the Izuna Lupus package, but nothing more for the K9s. I think that deck is pretty under the radar of a lot of people. I think the deck lost nothing. If so, it just gained and it just won the European Championship. So, and even the Asian people often just try to play a very highly consistent deck on those tournaments. Therefore, I could see one of those maybe bringing something like that and performing well with it. Then we go into Yummy. For me, that's the favorite deck. Doesn't let me put it in front of Draco Tail. No, now I cannot move anything at all anymore. Okay. Draco Tail seems to be fixed in that spot. Here I can move. I don't know. So Yummy is for me the favorite deck, definitely to win it. It's just super consistent. Has such a huge has that much space to play non-engine. Has a good ceiling. For me, there's nothing talking against this deck. Pure K9, I would put it in not a good spot. The deck has some things going for it, but also a lot of things going against it. I just I just don't see it good enough until the support comes. Then maybe we can talk yet again about it. Then there is two more Draco Tail versions. I would put both of them in a decent spot. I think the K9 engine doesn't really help the Draco Tail engine, and the Shadol engine is interesting in it. I just think that it would be better to go hardly on non-engine. The only issue is maybe the hardly non-engine build is a little bit brickier, but there you can still compensate with the triple Ogula and Pan just to always have material to fuse with. So I just see those two a little bit worse than the pure version. Crystron K9, I would also put in favorite. Let's say rather the top of decent spot. I played the deck myself on the OTS Championship. I didn't do too well with it. My main issue with the deck is that you have a lot of good starters, a lot of good two-card combos. The problem is that there's also a lot of cards that, let's say, not conflict but get redundant when you draw them in doubles, and therefore some hands, even if they seem super powerful, they can be really weird into one or two hand traps. Therefore I just see other decks a little bit more flexible and adaptable than this deck is, but for the rest it's a really good deck. The Heraldic Rizal version is for me, I would say, just behind Malice in the category, not in a good spot. It is You have more starters in this version than no, I would rather put it on close to unplayable because you just have one X left, and therefore X is the main starter for this deck, and that's just makes it for me unplayable. Then the Dododo Royal variant, I would sit in the second spot of could be a surprise because this deck, I know on the one hand it would be very vulnerable, but on the other hand, this deck is the deck that has the most starters right now for the Royal deck. And the engine being tightened down with Cross being able to recycle everything is not that big of an issue if you get to a dual drive. And this deck has a very, very consistent way to get to a dual drive. Therefore, I think this one could maybe be something that could be by surprise. Then Vanquish Soul K9, definitely one of the best decks. I think there we don't have to discuss a lot about it. This is one of the favorites. And Striker, I would put in not in a good spot, just behind Malice. Striker could be interesting. It's I think Striker is a deck that hardly wants to prepare for specific scenarios. You're going in with specific non-engine, maybe breakers. And in if you see, we have here like three favorite decks. We have four decks in a decent spot, and we have five decks that could take it by surprise. So it's really hard to really prepare for something specific. And yes, that's it for my World Championship prediction list, tier list, let's say. Sorry. I hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe. I wanted to set now an subscriber goal for 100 subscribers. At that point, we will do another giveaway with some nice goodies in it. So be sure to subscribe. If you need anything in finance coaching, health and fitness coaching, or Yu-Gi-Oh coaching, feel free to message me. Also, check out my other social medias and comments. Check out my store, and see you in the next one.